life will always throw challenges at you and things to help make it clear what is holding you back. Like if that attachment is there, life will throw you a challenge to show you that that attachment is there. But you have to have your ears open to listen and actually be aware of it, you know? Anytime you feel frustration, anger, all these things, you don't know how to deal with them. But no, actually, that's just life highlighting these things. This is what you're attached to. This is what you're lacking in. This is what you're, you know, not connecting with.
Hey guys, welcome again to the Here For Now podcast with myself, Ananda, Joseph and Abhi. So, I hope all's well in the world with you, and I know that the guys to my left and right have been away for a few days this past week, traipsing over the hills of, actually not the hills, the beaches.
There were some hills.
Maybe some hills.
Yeah.
It wasn't just flat. Chanting and dancing and banging drums by the sea, which might sound quite, maybe not strange, but it's a unique activity, definitely. So, how was your week and what exactly were you doing in Cornwall?
Was it Cornwall?
I think it was Dorset.
Oh, really?
Dorset. We went to this place called Weymouth first. That was the first area, right? Weymouth.
Yeah.
And then where did we end up in? We went to Tirtha, which is quite a famous place. Tirtha beach there.
What's Tirtha famous for again?
It's got the stone that looks like a door, I guess. Is that why it's called Tirtha?
Yeah.
There are lots of people there on the beaches.
I didn't get to see the door.
You didn't see the door?
No. I saw the Tirtha. I didn't see the door. Yeah, so we went to that part of England, and yeah, like you said, we were chanting, dancing in the streets and in the hills, on the beaches. The beaches were quite beautiful, actually. There was one beach that was even a sandy beach, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We saw a sandy beach, which I never seen in England. Beautiful sandy beach. It was a little cold, but there were some nice moments weather-wise, and amazing people. We met so many cool people that were really into the chanting. Basically, we were, you know, doing a form of kirtan, which is done on the streets, sometimes referred to as harinam. So going out with the drums and cymbals and chanting mantras and singing, trying to make a nice musical presentation for ourselves, but also for the public, for those that see us, and get people to join in, and it's really fun. And yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Nice.
It was a bit more chill, this one, than the last one.
Yeah.
The last one weather conditions were very hectic.
That was more hilly.
It was more hilly. I came back with a windburn face. My lips were in bits. And this one was a bit more chilled, but still not easy, because you're walking like 7-8 miles a day. Around a rough terrain. But yeah, what I noticed was, even the last one and this one, although it was challenging physically and mentally, I was in complete bliss for both of them, for the most part. And yeah, I guess that relates to spiritual life, really. We were speaking before about comfort a little bit. But you can be uncomfortable physically, mentally, but when you know and you have a deeper purpose behind what you're doing, you can have a lot of spiritual pleasure at the same time. Is one thing I walked away with from those 2 trips. Yeah. What did you walk away with, Abhi?
Oh, good question. Maybe I should have thought about it more. I just find it really, really amazing to be in nature, first of all. Like, there was one day where I was just kind of, you know, I guess more on my own, meditating in the forest, and it was really quiet, or any sounds that you do hear, they're like, I guess you can say natural sounds, the birds chirping, and you can feel the wind, the breeze blowing through the trees. And, you know, you might hear some people speaking in a distance, but no cars, no banging, no construction, no beeping, and ambulances and police sirens. And it was so nice. My head was so clear. You could feel like this noticeable difference when you come back into London.
Wow.
You can feel your brain just mash up into so many different shapes and sizes, you know, as soon as you get back into the city. So being there is so nice. Obviously, the end goal of life is not to just be in nature and be peaceful, but but that end goal that we're going for, this spiritual life, to be to feel connected spiritually, was way more accessible there. It was way easier to do it there. So yeah, I mean, that was just amazing. Of course, being with friends and cooking in nature is so nice. I love cooking in nature. Just like sitting there, you build the little wind blocker, and you got the gas cookers, and you're cooking whatever pasta or halava or khichdi, and it's so nice. It tastes way better, and you can eat way more because you're walking all day, and it's really fun. I really like that activity. Sometimes I think I wish I could just do it all the time. Just live like that.
Foraging nuts and berries.
No. I want to go to a shop, buy my things, and then go out into the forest and cook. But it's so nice being in nature. It's just amazing.
Wow, yeah.
I really, really like it. And one takeaway I had from it actually is that once a week, maybe once every couple of weeks, I want to go by myself and just go to some forest and spend the day by myself in some nature area, I thought about it for a long time, but after that trip, I really think I should do it.
I'll join you from sort of 150 meters.
Stay as a temporary restraining order for the day. But yeah, those are my takeaways. Just, I love nature. I really, really like being in nature.
Yeah, I was actually having a conversation exactly about this topic yesterday evening. I was having dinner with my friend Alex, and his friend Angie is very into Buddhism and nature and connecting with spirituality through nature, and has just spent, I think, 6 months or so at a Buddhist center in the countryside. And yeah, Alex, he's someone that, he's grown up in London as well. He's become somewhat acclimatized growing up to all those sounds you were just describing, the sirens and the chaos. But then, as he got older and he's been looking for I guess spiritual solutions to material problems, he's considering different paths. And he was asking me about going to spend time in nature. And I'm just about to go on a trip next week to this place in France. It's like in the middle of nowhere. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet. There's just a house on a hill, basically.
Wow.
A river nearby. Every year I've been there my whole life. Like 2 days after I was born, I was on a plane to this place. And I mean, my parents got this place in 1992. It's just a rundown old farmhouse. There's nothing there. And then gradually each year they've been building it up bit by bit. So now it's actually, materially speaking, it's pretty nice. When I first started going, when I was, I guess, literally a baby, and up to maybe 7, it was nice enough, but there was no bathroom, and so we'd kind of go 100 meters away from the house and dig a trench and do your business there. Get a bucket of water and wash and all of this, and that's just how we live in the summer every year.
Exciting.
Yeah. And but having that space and time to connect to nature and to disconnect from the kind of demands of the material world that other people have on you, or that you put on yourself, pressures to play a certain role, all of this. I really valued that. I still value that time and that place. And I think when you're in nature as well, you're kind of confronted by how tiny you are in the context of everything. And so there's a lot of peace that comes with that. You give up the desire to be in control, essentially.
Yeah.
And there's so much peace that comes with that. And so I was saying to Alex, like you were saying, Abhi, it's not the ultimate goal in one sense, because just to be peaceful in nature, because when I went to India the first time, up this mountain, this village called Kalga, and there were so many of these men in loincloths with beards and long matted hair, and they were all white. And I was thinking, oh yeah, so they've obviously come from the West and renounced worldly things to follow this life. And they all had their big chillums and like, but they didn't look very happy, frankly speaking. And speaking to them, they didn't seem particularly contented. And I mean, before that point, some part of me was considering like, you know, just renouncing everything worldly and just going and living one of those lives of meditation and in the mountains and seeing what that would be like for some period. But yeah, true happiness and sustainable happiness and peace is found not just up a mountain, but also, you know, when you're sitting at your family dinner at Christmas, or you know, if you're able to maintain that sense, then. So I was saying to Alex, you know, having that space and time to reflect can be good, like to come to a mode of goodness, you can say, more easily. But then, yeah, the true progress is found when you're back in the thick of it, you know, and in the thick of it you can share what you're experiencing with other people. Anyway, so yeah, just. I'd love to do something like that, go once or twice a week as well.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. Many great, you know, spiritual teachers, they explain that being in nature is good for your mind, clears up the mind, you know, it's actually quite important. It's human life. We should actually be living on farms or in nature, in forests, you know, foraging or with our own farm, growing things with cows, you know. That's how we should actually live, it's true, you know. It's not like we deny that, like, oh, we're on the spiritual platform, we're on the transcendental platform, so all that stuff doesn't matter. No, actually, that's real life. Yeah. Real life for humans. We're supposed to be more connected to nature. Agriculture, all that stuff is really important. Yeah, we're so far from it now in London.
You mentioned in terms of being in the mode of goodness, being in the mode of where you can be peaceful, calm, and you can absorb yourself in spirituality, be pious, do good things. When you're in nature, when you wake up early, when you do these things, and it's easy to be in that mode. I remember when I was in India, I did a yoga teacher training course in Govardhan Eco Village, a place where we spoke a couple episodes ago. And I was waking up at like 4 a.m. I was doing meditations early in the morning. I was in nature, eating incredible food, very healthy food, and then I got back to London and I just couldn't quite maintain that regulation or that mode of goodness. And even now that's something I struggle with, being regulated and things like this. But I guess what you were saying in terms of the purpose of life isn't just to be in the mode of goodness, isn't just to be calm, peaceful, at one with nature. There's a deeper purpose, which is, I guess, to be of value to others and to connect with something higher, not just to be pious and good. Yeah, that was my reflection anyway. What do you think?
It's pretty amazing. If everybody would understand that, the world would be such a better place, you know?
Yeah.
If everyone could get that point.
Did you grow up in cities?
Yes.
Did you as well? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But not as city as I am now.
London is the epitome. Yeah. It's like, apart from New York, probably London is the most intense city in the world. You know, you've been to New York?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. I didn't like it. I went when I was 18, like 9 years ago for the first time, and yeah, I went with my family. It was my mum's 50th, like a big family trip. Yeah, I just didn't like it. Just like, I felt very claustrophobic, and everything felt too kind of clean cut in a way, and everything was too, you know, everything's in grids, and like the park was like, okay, it's like, oh, out of necessity we created a green space which is like a perfect rectangle. Everything just felt quite superficial, you know, the first time I went. But then I went again a few months ago, and it is just a crazy place. Like, it is a crazy place. Everyone always says it's like London on steroids. And Soho I always consider to be completely mad. Like, sometimes we get up very early in the morning and walk through Soho at about 4 a.m. on a Saturday or Sunday morning to go to a temple to do meditation. And And naturally, of course, you know, people are in bars and clubs and coming out like throwing up and like anyway,
urinating in the street.
Yeah, and doing sometimes like shouting at you and like
I always like to, when I walk by and see someone, I always like to make a point to say good morning.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Just to see their reaction, because for them it's still the evening. For me it's the morning. It's the same time, you know. I always say good morning. You just see the look on their face. Good morning. Like you and about Mike.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Introspective sage.
Yeah, it says in the Bhagavad Gita, the time of awakening. What is it? The time of awakening for everyone else basically is when those introspective sage goes to sleep and vice versa. So everything is backwards. Someone who's introspective and spiritual, they wake up at the time that everybody else goes to sleep. Yeah, it's all backwards.
Yeah. You know? I mean, you hear even like, you know, business moguls and people, they'll have a very regulated morning schedule, won't they? Like this man here, business mogul.
Business mogul. I was just thinking about this. No,
I was going to say, you want me to finish glorifying you? But you were getting up at, you know, for a long time, you know, you're running a business and you wanted to pursue that as like being an entrepreneur, and you would get up at like 4 a.m. every day, and do meditation and like all of this.
I never know that.
You didn't know that, yeah.
So you were getting up at 4 a.m.
I was getting up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So why can't you get up at 4 a.m.?
Because this is what I was going to ask. I was waking up earlier before, actually. Yeah.
Because you had let in, I guess,
I was more balanced.
You had less in a day as well.
But I was less purposeful, I guess. Like the work I was doing didn't necessarily have as much purpose. It was still good for people. It was more a physical business, helping people with their bodies. But now I'm very happy in the service I'm doing. I'm loving this podcast, teaching yoga and things like this. But yeah, I always think about, well, not always, but past few weeks I've been thinking about, you know, how to not be attached to the mode of goodness, and how to, because I guess being attached to the mode of goodness is a way of, for me it feels impersonal as well, in terms of seeing God or seeing the universe as an impersonal energy, and so just being regulated with that energy.
Like regulation is God, basically.
Like regulation is God, and then once I'm like that, like life is amazing. You do feel happy like that. But even I was reading yesterday in the Bhagavad Gita that the mode of goodness is being attached to happiness in chapter 14. And the mode of passion is being attached to fruitive results and things like this. But I just don't know how to fully get out of that, because I'm always feel, like even today, like yesterday I was up early, today I was up a bit later, you know, like it's not steady. So how can one be attached to the right things while maintaining sort of balance as well? What do you guys think?
I was going to say, I think it's good to, I actually think, you know, they always say that being in this mode of goodness is like the springboard to transcendence. So actually, I mean, I can speak for myself. Maybe I'm not as much in the mode of goodness as you are, but to be attached to regulation is actually so important. It's actually, for me right now, it's what I'm actually completely focusing on. I was saying to Abhi yesterday, like that's all I'm focusing on right now is my regulation. Because that'll give me the solid foundation when my meditation's happening regularly, when I'm reading spiritual literatures in an absorbed and focused way, when I have a solid foundation for my spiritual growth rather than running around, you know, then being attached to that, it's a good thing, you know, to begin with. But then after some time you naturally progress from that as well. But it has to be regulated first before we go beyond that. That's my 2 pence.
I mean, we have to build positive attachments first. And not that we can just let go of all attachment at once. So we have bad habits, we have bad tendencies or bad thoughts, so you have to replace them with positive attachments, positive thoughts, positive behavior, all these things, then over time the bad habits, dwindle. And then you have to also be conscious, not that afterwards, like not like a next stage, but while you're doing that, building positive attachments, you have to be conscious that you're not, becoming attached to them in a way that stops you from actually progressing spiritually, So for example, I might have an attachment to waking up early and, having a shower immediately, and brushing my teeth, for example. Waking up, go brush my teeth, and I have a shower. That's a good attachment to have, build an attachment to that activity, because that helps you in spiritual life. It helps you be clean, helps you be regulated, and when you do that, then you have more time during the day because you woke up early and you're clean externally, so it's easier to, clean yourself internally with spiritual practice. So all that is good. But then if one day I for whatever reason, I'm not able to wake up at that time, and it's just something that's out of my control. And if I get really frustrated and upset at the fact that that happened, then that's something I need to work on, Then that's just highlights to you that you need to actually not be attached to it in that way that you're attached to it now, Just chill. So you have to, we should be attached to the goal of why we're doing it, I'm doing this thing to help me spiritually, and that's the focus. When we keep that in the focus, then whatever helps me spiritually, that's what you're going to be attached to, So for one day, not waking up early and having a shower and brushing your teeth at 4 a.m. or whatever, if one day you're not able to do that, that's not a problem, because that's not necessarily the thing you're actually attached to. It's the spiritual progress it's giving you that you're attached to. So if one day something else is giving you spiritual progress, and actually you should wake up a little bit later because you need more sleep, then you'll be happy doing that because that's helping you progress spiritually. But at the same time, it does help you to progress spiritually if every day you wake up at the same time. So, it's a balance, like an ongoing thing. And life will always throw challenges at you and things to help make it clear what is holding you back, Like if that attachment is there, life will throw you a challenge to show you that attachment is there. But you have to have your ears open to listen and actually be aware of it, And not just anytime you feel frustration, anger, all these things, you don't know how to deal with them. But no, actually, that's just life highlighting these things. This is what you're attached to. This is what you're lacking in. This is what you're, not connecting with. So you got to wake up and figure it out.
Were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Go on. Is it in response to that? Because I was going to continue on this point.
It's also on the same point, but you go first.
No, please go.
Okay. Just such polite English people.
I'm thinking Egyptians usually talk over each other. It's the complete opposite.
We're also on a podcast, so it's practical.
Well, I was just going to say, just before this conversation, I was reading in a set of books called the Srimad Bhagavatam about it's impossible to be free of the material modes of nature when you don't know the cause of them. What causes the modes of nature? And I guess that's having a conception of a supreme personality or something to devote your life to. But from a practicality, you need to actually build that relationship, I guess, and have a friendship or an exchange where that's beyond the modes of nature. I'm not sure if I've experienced that, but I've definitely experienced the modes of nature. So I just wanted to bring that up and just see what you thought about that and how to sort of make that connection so that you're not always bound by these modes of goodness, passion, ignorance and things.
Well, it's like, just very briefly, just what Abhi was saying about having a goal, isn't it? So like you said, if you develop that relationship, or if you at least have an understanding of that relationship, then you have a goal to move towards. So like you said, it gives context what you're experiencing in terms of the modes. Otherwise there's not necessarily such a deep motivation to progress through them, to go beyond them, Otherwise, what's the reason for wanting to go from being in the mode of ignorance to the mode of goodness, etc. It's like ultimate reason.
I guess it all goes back to intention. If your intention is to just be very clean and regulated and kind to others and all that, then that's as far as your life's purpose will go. It won't go anywhere beyond that. But if your intention is to be, self-realized, enlightened, realize who you are, develop love in life, real, pure love beyond this world, then all of your activities would be dedicated towards that.
Yeah.
You know, you being in the mode of goodness, you being clean, all these different things that are, you know, seemingly material, they will become spiritual activities because you're doing them in connection with the supreme being, you know, the supreme process of spiritual realization. So Bhakti yoga is a linking process. And that's a super important thing. It's Bhakti yoga, a process of realizing yourself as an individual spiritual spark in connection with something greater. It's a linking process. So everything you do, you just link it to spirituality, you know. Of course, there's some things you just can't link, because you can't link, like, you know, murdering somebody with Bhakti yoga, unless, you know, you're on the battlefield and in a war fighting for religious principles or something like that. But, you know, in our regular daily life,
that's a big topic.
Yeah, in your regular daily life, you have to just, you know, connect. Live in a dharmic way, a virtuous way, and then connect everything you do to Krishna. You know, then everything becomes blissful. And also, it's so important to have a spiritual practice every day, to wake up early, and, you know, what we're talking about, wake up early and have some kind of practice, because by sufficiently meditating and reading and chanting and all these things, by doing that sufficiently, then that bliss from those activities will overflow into all those other activities that you do during the day. And that's actually how you link everything you do to God, to spirituality. It's so difficult to do it mechanically in the brain, you know, if you're not spiritually strong and you go out into the world and you try and connect everything to spirituality, and you just mechanically, like, no, just keep remembering the spiritual process, keep giving up the results, keep, you know, meditating while you're doing all these different things. No, it's practically impossible. But you have to have a really strong and fulfilling and nourishing practice, you know, every morning or every evening or whatever it may be, where you read about spiritual topics, you meditate, you chant mantra, all this stuff, hang out with spiritual people also, spend time with them. Then the rest of your day, automatically it'll happen, along with your own effort. You know, you'll connect everything to Krishna.
Sharing the overflow, isn't it?
Yeah, distributing the overflow.
Distributing the overflow.
Utilizing the overflow in your life,
It's overflowing. So it's also a gradual thing for so many people, of course, to suddenly start waking up at 4 a.m. or doing all of this is, you know, working jobs, going to sleep late, etc. We have so many habits, so it's a really gradual process. And even making incremental changes in your life, so like reading a little bit of a spiritual book or doing 5 minutes of meditation or something like this every day, as opposed to none. And then it's a start and progress from there. Because to make that shift to the lifestyle that we're speaking about is very hard. It's gradual for all of us as well. And then I just wanted to pick up on something that you mentioned, Abhi, about the battlefield, and so you know, fighting for religious principles, because I mean, right now in various places in the world, there are people who are fighting for religious principles and causing a great deal of suffering for both parties. I mean, Israel, you know, Palestine, etc. So many places in the world. But that's the one I'm thinking of right now. Like, so can you say that that's justified activity? They're each fighting based on their own idea of who God is, you know, in one sense. Obviously it's political as well, but essentially it's coming from that root. Like,
I don't think anybody in the world today is fighting for religious principles. People are fighting for sense gratification. Whether they're in Israel or in Palestine or in Afghanistan or in America or in Russia or in Ukraine, none of them are fighting for religious principles. They're fighting for sense gratification under the scheme or under the, you know, the title of, oh, this is my religion, therefore that's why we're doing this. But no, if it wasn't for, you know, the gain of wealth or power and, you know, land and ownership of different things and places, you know, and utilities, like when you ask the people who really know what's up, they'll explain to you how the Russian-Ukraine war is all just based on certain parts of Ukraine that have amazing resources and facilities for Russia, and that's why they're having this war, you know. Same thing you can apply, same logic to Israel, Palestine, all these different countries. It's not religious. It's based on sense gratification. I'm not saying which party is right and which party is wrong, because all of them are all fighting based on sense gratification at the end of the day. Unless you're completely detached from that, you'll never be able to fight for something higher. And practically nobody in this world is really detached from that. It's very rare, you know. So what can you say in those situations? Like, sure, there's an underdog in the situation, which naturally everybody sympathizes with the underdog, and we should sympathize with the underdog, and we should protect people who are being exploited and all that's completely 100%. But at the same time, what are we really fighting for? Is it religious principles, or is it something more mundane?
I guess we need a goal that is non-sectarian. I was speaking to my dad yesterday, and he's very absorbed in this conflict in the Middle East, and my brother, and he's just talking about this particular conflict.
Israel-Palestine.
Yeah, Israel-Palestine. And he was talking about the past and like what could have been done to resolve things, etc., etc. But the whole time he's talking, I'm just thinking, you're only thinking on the physical platform. And I remember when I was first getting into spirituality, my mum would say to me, everything's about you. Just trying to like better yourself and all these things. Obviously, that's not the point of spirituality. The point is to build a connection with the God that is within everyone, you know, and in that way that you actually benefit everyone, rather than my God, your God, this God, that God. It's a non-sectarian spiritual approach. And in that way, if you're leading a country, you don't want to hurt another country for their resources, for your God that isn't their God, if that makes sense. And so in that whole discussion, I was just thinking, you're just missing the point of life. You're being absorbed in this conflict for your own sense of prestige or knowledge, without actually finding this deeper rooted problem that we're full of greed, envy and hate as a society. But by changing individually, you have a compound effect on society, actually. That was what I was thinking during that conversation, but I didn't tell him.
Kept quiet.
Tolerated.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true, yeah. It subtly gives people a sense of meaning, something to get absorbed in. Oftentimes these things. I think
this is my opinion and this is who I am, and I'm determined to prove it, and that gives me some identity.
Yeah, props it up. You know. Anyway, anyway.
That's actually it's all a tool for the politicians. They're all using this as a tool, because what politicians do is they come in and first they define who our group is. We are the so-and-so. This is our caste, this is our color, this is our creed, and this is our country, the 4 C's. So this is who we are. And they first establish that. And these are our values, this is what we want, this is what we're lacking, this is what we need to improve in, economically, or land, or education, or whatever it is. They identify something like that. And then they identify they, the other caste, color, creed, country, and so on. And this is how they're actually taking away your resources, and this is how they're actually stopping you and us from growing. And then they make this division, and that's how they get people to support them. You know, so all of this is just a scheme by the politicians, and we're just under their control. You know, that's how they get more power, get more control, get people to follow them and support them, and, you know, give them funds to do what they want to do, which is, you know, rack up their bank account. You know, so it's all just, we're falling for their tricks as a society. You know? So we think, oh, this is my opinion, this is who I am, this is my identity. But actually, we're just pets to the politicians. They're actually giving us these things. Because where are we getting this information from? The news is all controlled by governments, you know. Everyone knows that now, pretty much. I hope.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
I remember during COVID, which was obviously like a terrible time. It was a terrible time for so many people. That was a terrible time in many ways. But I just remember I was at uni at the time and we had to leave, go home. And when I was at home, it was almost like a cause for celebration every day at 6 when Boris Johnson would get on the news and give some updates on the COVID situation. And everyone in my house was really excited. Oh, Boris is about to speak. This is so absurd. This is so ridiculous. I just remember thinking, this is giving all of you a subtle sense of meaning and like, excitement, and you know, for everyone as well. It's like, it's quite strange, and it's a little twisted, and anyway, but yeah, people are devoid of like you said, deeper understanding of purpose and identity and meaning. And so when there are these dramas playing out, it temporarily gives some source of excitement before it falls away and then something else pops up, and, you know, and so on. So, yeah, and yeah, I just remember thinking it's so absurd, like, and yeah, I suppose to develop an ultimate sense of excitement and purpose beyond these kind of temporary plays that come and go is what spiritual understanding and purpose gives you, which is because it's based on an eternal principle of your eternal identity and relationship with everyone, regardless of what team they're on, a Muslim or a Christian or whatever. But like you say, that the God that resides both beyond all of us, but also in the heart of all of us as well. Anyway, I had something else I wanted to say, unless you wanted to comment on what I just said.
No, go ahead.
It's playing devil's advocate, going back to the previous topic.
Nice.
I like this. Because, you know, you're talking about that wars are not based on religious principles, but sense gratification. And so I was thinking, okay, what about in the case of, do you think like suicide bombers and this sort of thing, is that sense gratification?
Oh yeah,
yes.
They're trying to get 72 virgins.
Oh, 72 virgins, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's not religious or spiritual. That's what they're looking forward to. And that's in their reality. In their reality, that's what they're doing it for. I don't know if it's every single case is like that, but they do give them, you know, different motivations that if you do it, otherwise why would somebody do that? You know, why would anybody be motivated to do that? So they tell them, if you do this, therefore you will get so and so and so in heaven. You know, you'll get 72 virgins, or you'll get a beautiful home, or you'll live in a paradise where everything is very, very nice. You know, all these descriptions of heaven that we grew up with, it's not a spiritual desire. It's for our own sense gratification. You know, you'll be able to swim in oceans of milk, and you'll be able to drink wine, and you have the nicest fruits in the world.
This is what it says on Quran.
Well, in some places it says things like that, yeah. It's not that that's the all in all in the Quran. There's more to it. The connection with God and everything is also there, but it explains different things, and different people based on their attraction will actually get attracted to different things. So some people will just simply get attracted to sense gratification. You know, I'll get to eat nice things and have, you know, many women to enjoy with, and, you know, everything will be very beautiful, everything will be very nice. Therefore, I want to go to heaven. People who are a little more intelligent, of course, will think, no, you know, maybe heaven's like that, it's very beautiful, but the real reason why we want to go to heaven is to connect with God, you know, meet God, and ultimately have that deep connection with Him. And, you know, in that way, all those other things will seem insignificant. That's a more intelligent person would think that. But these suicide bombers, I mean, that's the stereotype, right? That's what they say is, usually that's the motivation, 72 virgins. So that's sense gratification. You're not religious about it. Why would you want to kill a bunch of people for God? That's just impossible. You can never kill people for God, because all those people are also God's children. So, yeah, sense gratification. Yeah.
I guess also you could see these people and see those tendencies in yourself at a more subtle level. So, okay, I'm not going to go out and kill a load of people with a bomb. Not yet, anyway.
But, you keep interrupting me in this part.
But how do those tendencies develop in that person, and where is it in my life? Because in the Bhagavad Gita it says attachment for the sense objects leads to lust, leads to anger, leads to loss of memory and bewilderment. And so in that state there's no intelligence actually. It's pure lust for these sense gratificatory objects. And so in my own life, when I'm having an argument with someone, or when I'm being disruptive in a conversation, or it's the same process that happens in the suicide bomber, but at a subtler level. And so yeah, I think that's why it's so important to have this deeper knowledge of how we actually operate as human beings. Because then we don't judge, like, okay, this person is terrible. He should go to, maybe he should go to hell, but at the same time, we can actually see how I actually have these tendencies within myself. So I'm just as bad at some small level.
It's interesting as well, thinking about it in terms of spiritual life, because you know, when you're experiencing that maybe lust for things or anger or resentment generally, sometimes that's like the fuel that some people use to propel them onto the spiritual path, like feeling some frustration and resentment and anger and envy towards like material society and, you know, all the problems that are obvious around the world today as a result of that mindset. But then also, when you have that mood of frustration and resentment and all these things, it can also, you can be propelled on a negative trajectory spiritually as well. And, you know, these suicide bombers and so on, like, because, you know, if you go deep on a spiritual path, to the lay person, maybe you've lost your mind a bit, you've lost your marbles, like you know, you're living a completely different lifestyle to the one you used to, all this airy-fairy nonsense, meditation, whatever. But then also, I mean, speaking from my own family, I had an uncle who, after his wife passed away in Zimbabwe, that's where he was living, he became incredibly bewildered and frustrated and lost, and he ended up taking shelter of some teachers of the Quran, and he actually ended up, he was traveling to Europe to execute some of the orders of these people and do some heinous things. Like, it's amazing how far you can go just from this point, you know, in either direction as well. Like, it's actually scary, like how easy our minds can be manipulated. He ended up traveling from Zimbabwe through Africa with some others. I can't remember the whole story, but he was going to pass through Ghana, which is where our family are. And when he was there, he was hiding from the family. He didn't want to be seen. And then I think they got to the Mediterranean, North Africa. And then there was some mix-up and he didn't end up going over, but he ended up going back to Ghana. And then my grandfather, who's a priest in Ghana, found him, took him in and started looking after him. And anyway, but it's like, you know, you can really go either way in the name of religion, you know, in the name of spirituality, and from the same point, I think some frustration and, you know.
Yeah, I like Joseph's point about how it all begins with lust, you know, because, I mean, again, you can see it on a small scale, like within your own life. Have you ever been in an argument and then realized afterwards that... Have you ever been in an argument and realized afterwards that if you maybe just had a full belly, like, everything would have been fine. You know? So many times I've got into an argument, but it's just because, like, we used to have this thing in my family, we'd all sit and have dinner together every night, you know? I don't know, 6 or 7 p.m. or something. But, you know, everyone's so hungry right before dinner, so we don't start until everyone's there. So, you know, if my brother's taking an extra 5 minutes, I mean, it would be like a war zone for those 5 minutes. Just, why are you coming down? You're running up and down to the stairs. Come on, hurry up, let's go. Or my father's maybe a bit late from work, and I'm imagining all these scenarios why, you know, it must be some, you know, selfish reason why he's not here. You know, you just come up with all these things, but then once you sit down and eat, everything is fine. There's that burning lust for whatever, you know, whether it's food or sex, whatever it is, some situation you really, really want. And then if something gets in the way of that somehow, or if someone capitalizes on that lust and influences you to behave in a certain way, convinces you to, you know, use your anger and point it in a certain direction, then anything is possible. I mean, it was crazy the kinds of arguments we'd have just because we had to wait like an extra 5 minutes to have dinner. I mean, maybe it was just me the whole time, but, you know, I guess me, my brother, my mom would get a bit heated sometimes, frustrated, everybody, because everyone was just hungry. You know, so even to wait an extra 5 minutes, it would start all these little flares and arguments and stuff. And as soon as we sit and eat, everything's fine. And it would happen every day also. Every day is like that.
Wow.
You know? So it's funny how those things happen. You're not yourself. Isn't there a Snickers ad? Like, you're not you when you're
hungry.
When you're hungry, you're not you when you're hungry. Have a
Snickers.
It's true. So then that on like a huge scale, it's like you said, someone
sponsored by Snickers.
Yeah, but please buy Snickers. It was your uncle. You said something tragic happened to him.
Yeah, his wife died.
His wife died. So all that anger, all channeled towards something, which wouldn't have happened without that situation. Would have never happened if his wife didn't pass away.
Also adding to that, I was reflecting on a class we heard recently where the speaker was talking about there was this man who was trying to avoid sex, basically be celibate for some time, but the community was of the same nature, but he just kept on being inundated with women and no one else was. And the teacher was saying that it was because in his own heart that lust was still there, that desire was still there. So even for me recently, we had a circumstance where I came to you because there was someone in our community who was saying some conspiracies about Jewish people. I'm Jewish. And I was like, Abhi, like this is... And Abhi was saying to me, yeah, maybe they shouldn't be saying this, but also, you know, there's something within your own heart which is still identifying with your religion, your race, this bodily identification. I found that really interesting in terms of if you're triggered by something, it's because it's within yourself as well. And so in a similar way with your uncle or relative, whatever that person was to you, and he had this anger within his heart, and so he found it teaching a perverted reflection of maybe a beautiful religion, and it's because that actually was in his own heart. And so when we see, you know, I hate this group of people, I hate that group of people, you're only seeing what's actually in your own heart.
Gosh. Yeah, because he was actually Christian. He was a Christian, you know, quite a serious Christian. And then I think he was angry with God. What happened to his wife. And so he turned it to, like you said, this perverted reflection of what's a beautiful religion, and took out that anger on those that worship that God that he once also loved. You know, like that. Terrible. And because that was still in his heart. And to what you said about still being attached to being Jewish, etc., etc. There's a nice story of a very saintly person, actually, in his early days on the spiritual path. He's African American, and he came to this practice, the spiritual community, and he was experiencing some racism against him, and he was thinking, you know, this shouldn't be happening. I found, you know, the Holy Grail, and yet there's still these imperfections, and there's still racism, and there's still all of this, and so he went to his guru and he said, Gurudev, he probably didn't say Gurudev, he definitely didn't say that. And he said, you know, he said, there's a problem in this community, you know. It's meant to be the highest thing, it's the highest goal there, but there's still racism. I'm experiencing racism. Why is this happening? There's something wrong. And his guru said, he said, this is a problem, you know, and these people are fools. But actually, you're just as much a fool if you're offended by them. Because, the same reason, you know, you're still on the bodily platform. This is about going beyond the body, going beyond the mind, etc. But you're still identifying with that. And so, we always get these experiences which give us an opportunity to get purified, these little clusters of dirt in our hearts. And, see things more and more clearly. Like that. Bhakti Tirtha Swami.
Great author, speaker.
He's written a great series called Spiritual Warrior. I haven't actually read all. I've read a bit of the first one, but I heard they're really good.
He also wrote an amazing book called, I forget what it's called, I think Spiritual Leader or something like that. Leader and Spiritual Leader. This is how to be a manager, how to be a leader, but with spiritual principles in mind. It's amazing. If you're in any leadership role, I mean, it's a really good book. I haven't read all of it, but what I read is amazing.
Do you have anything you remember from the book? Or any little nugget, anything small? Or...
Well, the essence is that, you know, any task you give somebody, or even any role you have as a leader, ultimately everything we do in Bhakti yoga or in spirituality externally is just a vessel for our devotion, to give our devotion. So we should give people tasks and give people things to do that will increase their devotion. It's not about the task itself. I might ask someone to come in here and tidy up this room and make it look nice and so on, but actually I should be in the consciousness that I'm doing this for them, so that they can come in here and have something to, you know, use to show their devotion, to give their devotion, rather than seeing what people can do for me, you know. So a real leader tries to give people tasks or give people things to do or give people jobs based on how they can grow and how they can improve and how they can, you know, see more benefit in the future. That's a real leader. He's always thinking about others, the benefit of others. But I'm self-sufficient. That's how, I'm not saying that I am self-sufficient. I'm saying this is how we should think, that I'm self-sufficient and I don't actually need anyone's help, but I'm going to get people to help me for their own benefit. Yeah, that's the essence.
Be the greatest servant.
Yeah. And ultimately, you see yourself as just serving them, helping them. That's how you stay humble.
Okay. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
How would you summarise the episode before we finish?
In 5 seconds.
In 3 words. One of the major themes has been nature. So our psychological nature, but also the natural world, natural environment, and spirituality. So, I suppose remembering or sincerely trying to seek and remember the ultimate goal, so that we can come into harmony with our true nature. That's how I would summarize it, something like that. Anyway.
Nice.
Good stuff. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic.